Welcome today. I forgot. You'll see it in the title. So continuing on of this woman, being a woman in this embodiment, and how fascinating it is to see the divisive tactics from this side of the street, and how women and men have been pitted against each other since the dawn of time. So I heard a dictation last year at a conference that was put on for Kim to be the messenger for the Ascended Masters on a particular set of issues. And one of those masters was Ascended Master Portia, and she talked about in the beginning of mankind, basically, that the fallen beings were able to observe the original inhabitants and seeing that women and men had very mild physical differences, obviously, that we can see. But women were actually, you could clearly tell that they were more in tune to the cycles of earth and to the nature, spirits, and all of that, more than men were. And they used that to, they basically were able to tell, okay, women are actually the more superior sex, if you could even say it like that. I don't think that Portia, she joked and she was like, yeah, technically women are, because of our ability to be in tune in a different way that men are. But it's not lesser. I don't know. I just contradicted myself because she joked and she was like, yeah, technically you're women are the superior sex, but don't click off because it was funny and I have points to share about that. Because basically the fallen beings came here, incarnated here to break up the homogeny that was happening, that was sending Earth into a downward spiral. And they saw this difference, they saw the women were in tune, and tried to elevate men as the superior sex because of their physical size. And the story goes on and has played out into what we've seen today as severe patriarchal atrocities that have happened over millennia, right? And it's another form of division, right? This divide and conquer strategy. And as someone who just started my bachelor's program, I'm halfway through, but I've been taking a 101 civics class, American Government Civics, and in that we were reading the Federalist Papers that was a part of the founding of America. And black and white on the page, brothers and sisters, Alexander Hamilton and James Madison are saying hey, you need to understand the importance of factions. Factions are inevitable. You cannot stop them from forming, but you can control their size. And so when you have a larger nation, you have a gigantic faction that cannot help but break down into smaller factions, which gives opportunity for what, my friends? Division amongst ourselves, right? Oh, I look like this, you look like this. Oh, we shouldn't get along. Oh, I'm poor and you're a little bit wealthier than me. Oh, we shouldn't get along. Blah blah blah. Oh, you worship this God and I don't worship that same God, so we shouldn't get along. And it was perfect, right? Huge republic. Let's make a huge republic to protect what? Black and white on the page. He said it, not me. To protect the minority elite. Because when you have the bigger faction that are fighting amongst themselves, they don't see the people who are actually running the show and laughing all the way to the bank, right? Okay? And so that was, for some reason, alarming to me because I was like, wow, first of all, why wasn't I told this? Why wasn't I taught this in middle school, high school? If I wasn't paying attention. That's on me. But still, why are they defunding education that makes it so clear what the problem really is, if you could say that? It's that certain types of people have been in power since the dawn of time, that have historically, like clockwork, divided and conquered the people who were not them. And whether it's a race war, whether it's a gender war, whether it's a religious war, whatever they can do, to let us fight amongst ourselves. And it's really a reflective process of how divided we are internally too, because when you experience trauma, creates a type of fracture and fragmentation in your psyche. And you can't physically see it like you can a broken arm, but you're internally broken, right? And it takes time to mend yourself back together, to mend your psyche back together. And until you do, you have warring parts. You may have contradicting thoughts and opinions and emotions happening, and it's very incoherent. And so my journey that I've been on for the last God knows how long, years, decade at this point, more than a decade, of putting myself back together and making sense of what the hell I've experienced, not just in this lifetime, but collectively, what I've taken on systemically, intergenerationally, epigenetically, all the ways that what I have taken on, and just dealing and coping with being on Earth in the present day. It's a journey, it's an experience, and it's a wild one. And so I think that it's the most radical thing that we can do is to take responsibility for our lives and our internal state of being. And yes, you may not be the person that caused your trauma, of course. It's so many things that can happen that can cause trauma, but it is our responsibility to take our healing seriously and to take our healing into our own hands. Physician, heal thyself, right? Not just in the physical sense. Obviously, I'm talking about the emotional, mental identity. Like, who do you identify yourself as? Where did you get the thoughts? Where these things, these identity labels that you've taken on, like, where did you even get that? That you're a piece of shit, that you're unworthy, you're unlovable. Where the hell did you learn that from? You know? And to realize, like, that's not you. That didn't come, into this world with you. At least not in your pure state. That wasn't just like who you emerged in this world to be is a piece of shit or an unlovable asshole or whatever scripts that you've got going on inside of your head, You took those on. Someone told you that at some point in your life, either psychically, subconsciously, outright, directly, and it made an impression. Things happened to you physically, heinous crimes committed, all kinds of things that have taken place, bloodshed, whatever. A lot can happen in many lifetimes, especially if you've been here for thousands or millions of years even. And there's a lot there. And in my experience of healing, I have used so many modalities. I have used somatic therapy. I have used internal family systems. I have used EMDR. I have used talk therapy. I have used dreams, Jungian psychology therapy. I have used anything that you can really think of that's especially hip with the times to help me. And it wasn't until I found the Ascended Master teachings that I started to see like a accelerated progress in my own healing, because lo and behold, like, how radical is it to have a spiritual teaching that helps you take radical responsibility for yourself and your life? I mean, as a recovering magical thinker, that was the most radical thing that I could ever do, was to start finally taking responsibility for my psyche and for my life and for my life circumstances. And not in a shaming way, not in a self-deprecating way, not in those familiar patterned ways of handling myself and life. It was actually to step back from the charged energy of the emotion, of the thinking of it all, and actually look at things from a healthy distance, space. And I do that primarily through invoking light, through these invocations that you're basically saying these affirmations of a condition that you're speaking life into, right? And you're calling in like the ascended fleet of beings that you're working with, in a given invocation. I've been doing these 4 invocations every day, 1 invocation per day, which is healing the identity, mental, emotional, and physical body. And it's sponsored by Mother Mary, the Ascended Master Mother Mary, and we're calling on the different healing masters because it's a healing invocation. And so I'm calling to different masters like Archangel Raphael and plenty of others. And we're saying affirmative statements of what we're calling for in our life and our planet. And then you're doing these kind of like limerick rhyming stanzas, these like poetry. And you repeat some verses and refrains, and then you say the affirmation, and that goes on for like 4 different parts. The parts, it could be 7 parts, 9 parts, 3 parts, but you're reading it out loud. And man, meditation just can't touch this stuff. I mean, especially whenever I'm really focused and I'm doing it, it's like, it's not always like this felt difference as you're doing it, but it's kind of undeniable, like this like almost liminal space and peace that can be felt. And I don't want to like talk it up and then you do it one time and it doesn't happen and you think it's not for you, because that definitely was me, recovering quitter over here too. But it's something that you have to be consistent with. Again, something that I'm working on and have been working on. And that's why this challenge has been so great for me, because I'm having to show up consistently. Like, yeah, sure, I miss a day or two because I have a child and I have schoolwork, and I'm not going to just like be filming every single day when I'm with my son, but I'm learning my system and ways that it works. So anyways, house divided amongst itself, internally at war, externally at war. And oftentimes things can seem more chaotic until, like, they seem more chaotic because they're actually getting better. Because what these invocations and decrees do, they invoke light into conditions where it can stir up things that you may not have seen before. Kind of like a purging, kind of like a cleanse. I'm expert cleanser over here in my early 20s. That's all I did, I swear. And so it's like a type of cleanse. And so just like, for example, let's look at the world stage. It may seem that things are getting worse, right? There's all this chaos, all these things coming to the light, but that's exactly what they're doing. They're coming to the light. They were always there. You just didn't see it. Power elites were always raping children. You just didn't know about it. It wasn't on CNN. Yeah, people weren't telling their stories on CNN about these power elite people raping and exploiting them. Yeah, but it was always happening. So, children. These things were happening to children. They are happening to children. And was always happening since the dawn of time, this exploitation of people, these certain types of beings that, again, look like you and me, are not like you and me, who treat beings like you and me as commodities, as things that they can buy. Like, in his mind, Jeffrey Epstein is just like, oh, of course, I have enough money, Prince Andrew, I have enough money, I can just buy sex with this girl. Like, they don't see us like humans. They see us like items, commodities, friends. And so I think what's really interesting, and I'll just kind of digress into like the story. I work for a corporate entity that is so massive and so large that humanity has pretty much been stripped from it, because something that large can't really operate other than as a machine. And so when you try to operate a business as a machine when it contains people, you lose a lot of, obviously, like I said, humanity. And so I find myself like at work witnessing people try to like gossip about each other and blame each other for why something isn't working. And I'm just like, friends, have you thought that maybe it's the system that is not working? Like, just stop with the petty. I mean, do it if you want, but I'm not participating. Like, this is a rigged, impossible system for humans to be in, because it's not designed for us. It is designed for one thing only, and that's for profit. And we don't need to be fighting. You know, it's just letting the system win, letting the elite win, letting these beings play us like a violin. You know what I'm saying? So, coming back to women and being a house divided and, you know, division, I believe, is the sharpest tool in the devil's toolkit. I mean, it's so easy. It's so easy to be like, oh, well, you look different than me. I should be afraid, because it activates that lovely part of the brain. I think it's the amygdala, the reptile brain, where we just want to feel safe and we're afraid of things that we don't know. And so if you know, been living your whole life in a village and then you see somebody walk in that looks completely different than you, you might be a little bit afraid. You know what I'm saying? You might be, I don't know what you would, you don't know what you would do until it happens to you, right? And I think as we go on in time, there is more that's going to be revealed. More is coming out. More is coming to light. And it's up to us, the ones that hear the call, to be of service and to use our experiences that we've learned, use our discernment process and our tools and skills to be a uniting force and a force for good, and to be a beacon, you know, to be in service to what humanity really needs. We're undergoing like a psychological revolution, like a psychological crisis, even like a crisis of meaning, of like spiritual connection, you know, because when you have a world that is constantly feeding you this messaging that you're just here to consume, to make money and consume, it's like, yeah, I may have like my needs met, my basic needs met, and that's great. But my psychological needs are still, I don't feel safe. Like, I don't feel psychologically safe in this world. That's what a lot of young people are going through right now. Like, they just feel like overwhelmed because the world's on fire, you know? And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's like this unspoken revolt that's happening for so many people. I know that was for me. I mean, my 20s, I was in the woods, y'all. I was not about to be participating in it. And I didn't trust a damn thing that this world had to offer me. Conspiracy theorists, I didn't care. I was afraid. I didn't trust anything. I didn't trust anyone. I had experienced so much abuse and trials and tribulations, and I was just like piecing out in my victim cave, and I was just like, nope, I refuse. You can't make me. And then I had my son, and then I was like, oh my God, this thing called responsibility, self-responsibility, accountability. I gotta step up. You know, I can't just keep running. And so here I am. Hello. I am in school. I have a part-time job working for fucking corporate bullshit. And it's just, I gotta do something, you know, to support myself. But I know that I have played in Moldover in my mind like an opportunity for like counseling. That's what I'm in school for. And life coaching and just mentorship and creating like spaces for stewardship and connection and mentorship for all of us, so that we can make meaning and have the sense of community even if we're apart, you know, and so much other stuff. I mean, I sing, I do all this stuff, and so I'm like, what is the most thing that I can give of service? What do people need, you know? And I think we need things in very non-traditional ways, unconventional ways, things that we're least expecting. It's usually the things that we need the most that we weren't expecting. And so I usually, in order to make that be and to come into manifestation, you got to be discerning. You got to listen to your intuition. And so whenever I'm making these videos and I'm riffing and I've got the energy flowing and I'm sweating through my pits, it's usually a good sign something's going on, you know? And I just wanted to share my thoughts about that. And like, don't let yourself get I mean, do whatever you got to do. Some people have to play this out, but like this whole divisive game, like you were smarter than that. You don't have to be a part of that horseshit. It's just stealing your life force, brother. Like it's stealing your energy and your life force to other the other and to try to make your fellow brother or sister your enemy because you don't understand them. You know what I'm saying? So understanding, facing the fear of connection, facing the fear of confrontation, facing the fear of oh, just actually turn it into curiosity. Curiosity. It may have killed the cat, but it won't kill you. I mean, unless you're like eating shit off the floor or eating something you shouldn't be eating. Like don't do that. But be curious, be open. Don't take everything so seriously. Don't take everything so seriously and don't take it so personally. Life is not that serious. You know what I mean? Okay, I'll talk to you in my next video.